Happy Spiritual Sunday to you all. Hope you had an amazing week. And I just want you to know, the world is your mirror. And it's your stage. And we're going to learn today how your soul can write a script to your benefit. So let's start as we usually do. Something from Karen's book, Simple Light. And I just want to share with you, if those of you, whether you've been in the center for a while or you're new to Spiritual Sunday and therefore the teachings of the Kabbalah Center, I'd encourage you to really understand how the center came about by these two people called the Rav and Karen. I would encourage you to read the book, Two Unlikely People. That literally is, as we would often call it, two very different worlds uniting together to bring to the world this universal technology of the soul that's called Kabbalah. And understand, especially today, there's so many different, let's call it perspectives, takes, on what Kabbalah is, who can study, and go on and on and on, and all the different ways that people could teach what they call the wisdom of Kabbalah. So read the book. You'll have an understanding of why the center, the Kabbalah Center, is so unique. And therefore, why we've been able to achieve what we've achieved all around the world, transforming this planet from hell on earth to heaven on earth. And so let's start with this from Karen. It is within our power, the power of the human race, to be able to create energy that will bring dignity and respect to all human beings. It is also in our hands to destroy it. What was the intention of the Creator when He created mankind? To give the Creator's beneficence to all humanity. Therefore, everything that is negative in this world is because of the human desire to receive for oneself alone, which means that it is within the power of every single one of us to temper that desire and to bring about the end of destruction and misery. So many people have been killed in the name of religion. How many of us, in the name of spirituality, can put the world back together again? So, as we'll talk about actually today, don't let that AI program in your head make you believe that you are not capable to change the world. Let the voice of your soul, that's also speaking to you 24/7. Listen to that voice, accept its truth. No matter what the other voice, no matter what the rest of your experience may seem to have been, know that you and I, each one of us, has the power of the Creator to literally transform the entire planet from hell to heaven. And so let's start with our affirmation. And as we say it, let us truly open our heart and soul. As we just read from Karen, as all the great true Kabbalists said, this message has to go out and belongs to every human being on earth, So as we say together this affirmation, let us truly open our heart and soul that it will reach into the heart and soul of every human being. Because there is a piece of the Creator in every person. There is no human being on earth that does not have in their soul a piece of the Creator. Our job, as Karen said, is to decide, to choose, use the light of our soul, that perfect power of creation, to create peace, harmony, love, and joy, or, heaven forbid, the opposite. So we say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. So, as the Rav and Karen used to say, the Bible, the 5 books of Moses, bestseller. Probably most of the people around the world have that book somewhere on their shelf. But unfortunately, because when a person tries to read it and understand it only on its literal level, it's impossible. Because in various ways, and this is not the forum to go into it right now, but in various ways it contradicts itself. And this is where what we teach in the center from the Zohar itself. The Bible is a coded document that can be understood, or at least attempted to be understood, on many different levels. The most surface level, literally the literal words of the Bible, but as we said, if you really, really look at it, contradicts itself in many ways. And so the Zohar, for those of us who are driven from the awakening of our soul, that piece of the Creator within us, to understand the universe, and ultimately to have what the Creator wanted us to have, wants us to have, as Karen said, just to manifest the beneficence of the Creator, eternal blessings for all human beings forever. And so as the Bible is coded and the Zohar unlocks that code, let's start with, especially for today, the most fundamental beginnings of that code. Genesis 1. Those of you who are familiar with Kabbalah 1 in the center, the universe started in something called the endless world. The Creator's world. It's just pure light. And for all the reasons that we teach from Kabbalah 1 forward, we collectively chose to come into this world. But as Genesis 1 tells us, we came into this world as one being, one human being that carried all the souls in it. And then Genesis 2, that one being was split into Adam and Eve. 2 bodies, which essentially, in simple terms, gave us the ability to share with somebody else. It's kind of hard if there were only one being to share. So the code is telling us our job is how we look at other people determines how we'll behave, and how we behave determines what comes back to us. So this Adam and Eve in Genesis 2, they didn't have physical bodies yet. Even as you read the code, essentially we're ethereal beings, spirits, if you will. Yes, we created the AI program, I like to call it now, that Genesis 1 snake, serpent, as we call it, the AI program of opposition, challenge, put up a little resistance to our desire to share and manifest the light of the Creator within us. And so as the story goes, you and me as Adam and Eve, we got fooled by the opponent as we looked at the two trees. The code meaning the physical, material, 5 sense world, and the immaterial, what's called 99% pure and perfect light universe. Our job essentially was to keep them together. As we would talk today, living in the physical world, but navigating this world directed only by the light of our soul, our piece of the Creator. And so you and I, because there is only one, as this two beings, Adam and Eve, as we gave into disconnecting ourselves from the pure tree of life, infinite light, and we immersed ourselves in the mud of the physical, material world. And as we did that, the code says, then the Creator made these two human beings, Adam and Eve, coats of skin. The usual thought is Tarzan and Jane, little loincloths. What the Zohar and the Kabbalists teach us, we went from being pure ethereal, spiritual entities, we took on flesh and blood, physical materiality, and all the influences of that physical world. And then, in simple terms, Adam and Eve had children, and the children had children, and the children had children. So, from the one soul containing the infinite light of the Creator that was then not split, divided, let's call it extended into two bodies called Adam and Eve, and then kept extending and extending and extending into 8.5 billion physical bodies that we are today. And this is why I like to look at it, because it makes it easier to grasp a one soul spiritual internet. No matter how many people there have ever been on earth, population of a few dozen, back in the early stages of this world, to millions, to hundreds of millions, to billions, and now quite a number of billion bodies, there's still only one soul. One soul. Now, as we've talked about, and I hope that it's something we all keep in mind, every negative action that a person does covers a piece of our soul's light with mud, veil, shells, called in various ways a covering. And therefore, the light that shines within us outward 24/7, as the Creator's light shines in the entire universe 24/7 on all humanity, we've blocked its emanation into our lives by our negative behavior and the shells and the coverings, the veils that were created by those negative actions. And this is why we can understand, let's call it meanwhile, human behavior, that no matter what dire situation a person is in, or no matter what great physical materiality a person is in, every human being on earth is still seeking more. The issue is, from Adam and Eve, unfortunately, most people are still seeking the more in the physical materiality, which was the original cause for falling into this mud, being immersed and covered with this mud of desire to see for oneself alone, as it's known. And our spiritual work, what the Kabbalists teach us, we want to be free from that mud. We want to be free from those curtains and the shells and the veils that cover our soul. Our soul, which is the consciousness of pure unconditional love, which is the consciousness and the source, the energy that can manifest peace on earth, eternal blessings, complete fulfillment, joy, and happiness. Our soul wants to be free from this prison that we've put it in, individually and collectively, since the beginnings of Adam and Eve. To the specific point I'd like to share with you today, in order for us to manifest those blessings of the light of the Creator that's already in our soul, that fills the universe, we have to be able to see and remove the mud, the curtains, the veils, the shells, and allow our light to shine into our world. And like we constantly remind ourselves, physically and spiritually, only light can take away darkness. Only the light of the Creator, allowed to shine from your heart and soul outward, can remove the chaos, the confusion, and all the negativity that you may be experiencing right now. And like in the physical world, which is the only way we can learn to relate to the spiritual world, since not everybody sees the spiritual world like the great Kabbalists did. So we can relate from the physical to the spiritual. If we want to remove the mud, we need a mirror so we can see where we're being covered in that mud. And since we know what goes around comes around, or as they call it, the law of cause and effect, like attracts like, the law of attraction, whatever name you want to give it, what goes out from us will come back to us in its right time, in its right way, not according to our desire to see for oneself alone, which is our human part that says, I want it now. That's where the AI program of the opponent, Satan, the adversary, the challenger, the evil inclination, the ego, exploits and beats us. Give me now. Instant gratification. But that instant gratification is only temporary. So then if we're keeping in mind what goes around comes around, what we emanate out into the world comes back to us, then in very simple terms, think in that way as the great Kabbalists, I'm thinking of the Baal Shem Tov in particular now, but as many of them, and the Zohar essentially tells us, the entire world is our mirror. Because what's a mirror? Why do you look in a mirror for whatever? To get dressed, brush your teeth, put your makeup, comb your hair, whatever it is? Because the mirror reflects you. Could you imagine? You walk into your bathroom, you open your eyes in the morning and you look in the mirror and you see somebody else's face. It'd be a little shocking, no? We expect the physical glass mirror to reflect us. On a spiritual level, what all the Kabbalists are teaching us and encouraging us to keep in mind to our benefit, the entire world, and therefore every human being in it, is a reflection of ourselves. Yes, don't let the AI program say, no, Chaim, I'm nothing like this person, that person, those people, whatever. You may not be doing identically what they're doing or what they've done in the world or to you, but we are. And we need to keep in mind to our benefit, to our great blessings of transforming chaos to order and curses to blessings and darkness to light, we need to keep in mind the world is our mirror. And even though they look like other people, as we will do the work necessary, we can see what the reflection is. You look at the body. Our body is made of many parts, but it's all one body. When we hold consciousness as everything, and cause and effect goes around, comes around, that means everyone out there is a reflection of me in some way. Not if, how. And that's why spirituality, especially Kabbalistic wisdom, is such an effort to apply, because it's the most powerful methodology, technology to defeat the opponent, the AI program in our brains forever. And therefore it's programmed to put up the greatest distraction for those of us who are applying this wisdom, especially using the Zohar and the various tools. The opponent tells us, no, but they don't look like you. You're not doing what they did. But now we have to stop and think. And for me, the simplest example, because I believe everyone can relate. Most of us have some kind of fear, some way or another. Whatever the fear really doesn't matter. But two people with the emotional shell of fear could act in two opposite appearing ways. One person out of fear gets in your face, scream and yell like aggressive, overbearing people, demanding or whatever. The outside looks one way. What they're really coming from inside is fear. Fear of whatever, and their expression of fear is that over aggressive behavior. And then you have what most of us think a fearful person looks like. Cowering away, sort of, weak and quiet in the corner, backing away, not speaking up, not confronting, maybe even a little bit of shaking, etc. But both those people are emanating the energy of fear, are acting from the energy of fear. And that's why we have to work at, and therefore make the effort to defeat the opponent that's telling us, oh no, that's not us, to see how. Where is my fear? If I'm looking at somebody and I'm assessing even that they're coming from fear, where's my fear? And I have to dig deep. Sometimes it's not so easy to find. This is why in the center we have teachers to support your spiritual growth. Person wants to come to the center, make an appointment with a teacher to help them dig into that which they can't see in themselves, is another form of a mirror. Somebody who understands the wisdom, cares about you, wants to help you, because as we're saying, there's only one soul. If I help you, I'm helping myself also, because you are a part of me. And what I do for you reflects back to me. And that's why love, kindness, and compassion. All the light behaviors is what I make an effort to express as much as possible, because that's what I want to come back to me. The other way that we learn in the center to see how the universe helps us, as paradoxical as it may sound, the universe giving us another way to see our mud, to see where our curtains are, and therefore to be able to remove them, is to understand that my soul, a piece of the infinite light of the Creator, and that consciousness of pure love, care, compassion, and desire to be free from the mud prison we've put it in, finds a way, as we call it, to write a script, write a scenario, bring actors, scenery, metaphorically into our lives, meaning whatever situation you go to work, from your point of view, everyone at work is a reflection of you. They're an actor in your movie that your soul, and yes, it is our soul, writes in order to give us a message of where we still have mud, where we still have those shells and what it's made of. Fear, jealousy, ego, insecurity, greed, whatever it may be. Every scenario, every situation we're in is a part of that movie that our soul has written to give us a message of what piece of mud, what bar in the prison that we've created we are ready to break through. That piece of mud we're ready to get rid of, because the light of our soul that will shine outward into our lives by removing that mud is exactly what light energy we need for protection, a transformation from some negative future experience, an accident, illness, trouble in business, relationship, whatever it is, to overcome that, to prevent that. This is why the Zohar says, always comes the cure before the problem, the solution before the trouble. So we all have, unfortunately, some negativity waiting to come back to us from previous negative behaviors, this life or a past life. By taking advantage of every situation that pushes our buttons, every person that says or does something that pushes our button, when we can take advantage of that situation to listen, to identify the message from our soul of what's blocking the light that needs to be expressed, manifest in our lives, to remove the darkness of what was coming. By shining light to take away that darkness. Again, think simple. Person driving down a street they think they're familiar with. They've driven it for years. But they're driving at night and they say, oh, because I know the road and I know what's around there, drive without their headlights on. But somewhere along the line, even though for years, let's call it, they've driven that road in the dark because they know the road, they know how to drive it, they know whatever. But maybe this particular evening, there was a car parked in an unusual spot. Maybe there was some obstacle that got dropped in the middle of the road that now in the dark they don't see. So in essence, if you understand the metaphor, that obstacle was now meant for the person. So if they continue to drive in the dark, they could hit that obstacle and have some kind of injury or accident. Turning on the lights, the headlights, now they see the obstacle, and they can manage to go around it unharmed. Every challenge that we find ourselves in, whether it's directly or whether it's something we hear about, or we watch the news, or you go on social media and you see all the chaos going on in the world, whatever pushes your buttons is a message from your soul where you're still blocked with some layer of mud, some curtain or numbers of curtains, shells that are hiding your light, that are influencing you to be angry, jealous, resentful, guilt, shame, greedy, egotistical, jealous, whatever it may be, that's not light-like behavior, that's not advantageous to you. The opposite. It's taking from you. The message is, remove the shell, let your light shine. When people say, oh, let go, or the old saying I heard before the center, let go and let God, what does that mean? It's no let go. Until we make the effort to remove the mud, break through the shell, lift the curtain, whichever way you want to look at it, until we make the effort, we are not able to let God, the light, shine out and remove the darkness. Because only light will remove the darkness of chaos, confusion, stress, fear, anxiety. Only the light. The beauty is we are all filled with light, just waiting for us to let it shine out into the world. That's our spiritual work. That's what we learn from Kabbalah 1 forward, how to do that. Yes, it's not an easy concept. My soul is writing the movie? Yes. My soul. Think, stand back. You understand our soul is filled with the light of the Creator, which is unconditional love. As we read from Karen, only wants to bestow its entire, complete beneficence in all way, shape, or form on humanity, on each of us. Then we have that opponent that we program, the AI program, ego, selfishness, desire to see oneself alone, the serpent, the evil inclination, I don't know, the angel of death, whatever name you want to give it. If it's there to oppose, so that we have to make an effort to appreciate overcoming the opponent and achieving victory over our shells, curtains, they're called Kabbalistically klipot, overcoming the opponent. Can you imagine that it would be that opponent that creates a scenario that allows us to see our mud when we will use Kabbalistic technology to understand it and see it? No, it doesn't want us to see the mud. It doesn't want to give us. That's why the opponent, in essence, will give you whatever you want. Anytime you want it, but instant gratification, short-term fulfillment. So when it's easy come, as they say, easy go. When you make an effort, when you have to exert your spiritual muscle of shining light outward to break through those klipot, those shells, to remove that mud, that's when the light shines and it's lasting blessings. That peace is eternal fulfillment. Yes, we have more mud, listen to the messages, or as we teach, not so much for today, how to chase down your mud, how to make an effort, challenge yourself to be more loving, more generous, more humble, more tolerant, more grateful. Speed up that process even more. But at least what I pray we're all getting today is the awareness. The universe is our mirror. As we will take advantage of that concept, that wisdom, that truth, and use it, it will be to our benefit. Just in a similar way like the physical mirror. How many times have you and I gone around for our day, didn't know, whatever you want to say, the zipper's down, this is not right, etc., because we didn't look in the mirror to see. We just assumed and we walked out. And then, the end of the day, you look in the mirror and say, oh my goodness, I didn't realize this or that or the other thing was out of place. And how come nobody told me, and on and on and on. So we're learning. The universe is always telling us. The issue is, are we paying attention? And so we learn. There's only one person in this universe, from my point of view. From your point of view, there's only one person in the universe. It's you and 8.5 billion reflections of you. From my point of view, it's me and 8.5 billion reflections of me. And therefore, I have learned through very challenging experiences, but extremely enlightening, to truly see that there is nobody out there but me. Yes, the face may look like somebody I know, somebody I don't know, somebody I have issues with, some group I have issues with, some events in the world I have issues with, but I've come to see clearly it's all me. It's all me, facets of me. Now, before you let that AI program get there, doesn't mean if somebody's committing violence and that pushes your button that you're a violent person. No. But be honest with yourself. Do you have a little bit of impatience? Do you have a little bit of snarling criticism of somebody? Do you have negative thoughts about somebody? In your level, that's a similar idea to somebody out there with the same thoughts, but the way they manifest it is violence. And that's the power we have. That's what the Kabbalah Center, my teachers, the Rav and Karen, and all the way back, the teacher of the Rav Branwein, the teacher of Rav Branwein, Rav Yehuda Ashlag, greatest Kabbalist, at least in the last 500, 800, 1,000 years, who had a teacher, who had a teacher, who had a teacher of true master Kabbalists that were taught, if you want to say, as an apprentice, one to the next, one to the next, one to the next, that have taught us this wisdom, that have brought it down from the Zohar itself, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, in a way that everybody can make use of it. And that's why earlier I encourage you, read the book, Two Unlikely People. Understand how, after thousands of years, and up to Rav Ashlag, who started the Kabbalah Center, who then passed the responsibility and the privilege to bring this wisdom to the world to Rav Branwein. And Rav Branwein, from his teacher, gave this spiritual structure called the Kabbalah Center to Rav Berg, who then attracted his perfect soulmate vessel and support to manifest something called the Kabbalah Center worldwide, that every human being on earth, no matter who, what, when, or where, color, race, religion, background, what have you, that wanted to know the universal technology of the soul, to use it as can only be win-win, good for good. When we want all of our good, the only way we can truly have it is by sharing it with others. Because especially after today, if you hold the concept that everybody in the world or the entire world is just my spiritual being, from your point of view, everyone out there is your spiritual being. And yes, again, doesn't mean that they're exempt, those other people are exempt from their cause and effect. They have their own world. What they put out into their world is what's going to come back to them, which is probably more than likely why they behaved or behave the way they do that you don't like, that pushes your buttons. So keep in mind the picture is huge. We have many past lives, and if you don't believe right now or accept reincarnation, at least read about it. Read Karen's book, To Be Continued. Read the Rav's book, Wheels of the Soul. Start investigating. Because it makes a lot of sense why things are the way they are, why people come into this world the way they do. But let's, before we go, sort of the short form of the process of transformation to reveal your inherent blessings. When something triggers you and those negative emotions start to well up, pause. Before you act, pause for a moment. Find the message from your soul simply by asking, what emotion are you feeling? That's what your klipa, that's the message from your soul. That's what that shell, that mud is made of. Fear, anger, insecurity, guilt, shame, jealousy, whatever's being awakened in that moment. And then ask yourself, what do I want to come back to me? Because it's my free will to decide. I have the choice, light or darkness, by reactive or proactive behavior. And then consciously, just think, shine a beam of light out from your heart and soul to the heart and soul of all people in that situation. Because that's what comes back to you. Don't look for them to change in a moment. You don't have to hang out with them anymore. Light that you're shining is actually your only protection against their negative vibration. The Creator is unconditional love. It shines on everybody 24/7. Our soul is filled with that. And as the Creator shines light on all of us, and we want what the Creator has, the only way is copying, emulating the Creator. Shine light. Decide the whole world is your mirror and your container, your vessel, for the light you can shine from your heart and soul. Everybody on earth wants freedom, wants the freedom from all the chaos and negativity, complete happiness that freedom brings. But as we see in the world today, they're doing it in the wrong way, by reactive negative behavior, trying to externally change things. Only by the internal transformation and shining light outward can we reveal all of our blessings. The center, teaching every person on earth, whoever wants to learn, whoever wants to learn, whoever wants, to change themselves in the world. We're teaching every person this technology of the soul. And the more of us that will take this opportunity to use the tools, the wisdom that we offer in the center here on Spiritual Sunday, to emulate the Creator by shining our light unconditionally. And then, as it says in Isaiah, the nations shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword towards any nation, and neither shall they any more learn war. And therefore, love will be the only language humanity speaks. God bless. I want to thank you all. Let me post it here. Okay. I want to thank you all for your contributions to the programs of the center. Remember, make sure everybody you know, everybody you meet and greet, at least offer them. Get a few of the pocket Zohars, just offer it as a gift of your love for them, for humanity, for peace on earth. This is a gift from the students of the center to bring peace and love, health and harmony to your life. Or for those of you, right, get at least the sacred Zohar, it's called. All of the Zohars Aramaic, because we know as we're about to do our meditation on the 72 names, or one of the 72 names, the Hebrew letters, Aramaic letters, shine the light of the Creator. And so number one, just by having the book that's the Aramaic Zohar, it's shining light. You put it in your house, it's shining light. And whether people who come into your house realize it or not, or the people living in your house, they're being radiated with the pure, unconditional light of love of the Creator. And even though you may not see it right away, but enough of that awakening in you, me, and everyone else, we become more and more light-like in our behavior. Sometimes, yes, along the way, first has to come the thought of guilt. I had a few conversations this last week, about people who suddenly woke up to realize how in the past they behaved insensitively, a little aggressive, controlling, like negative. How come they didn't realize it before when they did the action or ever since? Because it took a certain amount of light awakening inside them and emanating out by their actions of transformational, uncomfortable sharing to remove the mud. That added illumination helped them see the distinction between the behavior they did, justified by their opponent in their head, but it was reactive. That illumination that they've manifested by these actions of removing their mud, that added light enabled them to see, to perceive the negativity of their behavior. And therefore comes the desire to change it. So make sure that you're using it, you're offering it to friends and family, because the more light, faster all the darkness goes away. So here is one of the 72 names of God, Aleph, Yud, Ain. And as the Kabbalists teach us, as we said, the Hebrew letters shine light. And so this combination is called Great Expectations. And I thought that was very appropriate for today, that all of us should have great expectations of ourselves, to behave with greater love, kindness, and compassion, and great expectations as you and I do it more, attracting more people who will come to this wisdom, the faster we can change the planet from hell on earth to heaven on earth, from darkness to light and chaos to order. So just let the shapes and the names be in your heart and soul, engraved in your mind's eye, Aleph, Yud, Ain. So I ask you, sit comfortably in your seat, feet flat on the floor, hands comfortably in your lap, taking a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, the light of the Creator. Hold it for a moment and exhale through your mouth. Increasing the circulation of that pure light, the breath of life, to help remove the stress and the tension that you may be under right now. Making the voice of the Creator, your soul, in your head louder than the voice of your opponent. That you have clarity and guidance from your soul to be able to remove your blockages and let your light shine. Relaxing into this light of the Creator. And now allow yourself to breathe as you normally do. And we envision together the Aleph, Yud, Ain. See it above your head. See it glowing, radiating this pure light of the Creator. The power of manifesting great expectations of peace, love, joy, health, prosperity, love, happiness from the light of your soul out into the world, and thereby affecting every human being. And so with the awareness that we are already pure and perfect beings of light, and as we're strengthening our desire to shine that light outward from within us out into the world, removing our shells, curtains of negativity, and letting our light shine and manifest in our lives and in the world. Aleph, Yud, Ain. Allow it to enter through the top of your head. Glowing, radiating this pure light. The manifestation of that which on a heart and soul level we all expect. Complete happiness, joy, blessings in all ways, individually and collectively, as we are one unified soul. And so see, feel, perceive Aleph, Yud, Ain flowing through your body head to toe, activating the unrealized, unmanifest light that the Creator implanted in you. You're already shining a certain level of that 100% you've been given. Now we're revealing more and more of that 100%. And so let the Aleph, Yud, Ain settle in your heart and soul. Opening up the pure heart of God that we each have, of true unconditional love for all humanity. Let that Aleph, Yud, Ain, let that energy expand in your heart and soul, breaking down the walls that have surrounded your heart, removing the dark space of unrevealed light inside you. Let it reach also to your mind, freeing your mind from the influence of the opponent, allowing the voice of your soul, the Creator in you, to be louder, guide you, direct you, clarify things. And now together we let this power of the name Aleph, Yud, Ain shine out from our heart and soul to the heart and soul of every human being on earth, radiating out to every part of our spiritual being that appears to be in all the people on earth. Letting that light shine out, activating greater expectations within each person to be more godlike, with more light behaviors, greater love, kindness, generosity, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, apology, all the light-like behaviors as we increase our expectations, our true desire for true light, lasting fulfillment, manifesting the peace of the Creator in us. Aleph, Yud, Ayin, allowing it to shine with greater intensity of unconditional love, desire to remove the darkness that separates, fragments humanity from returning to that one unified soul being in pure harmony and vitality of the light. See the world vibrating with this power of peace. Envision every human being on earth as extensions of yourself, acting with more love and unity with all humanity. Let us see together the darkness disappearing in the face of light, negative behaviors transforming to light-like behaviors, love, kindness, and compassion to all people. That the entire world and all humanity glowing, radiating with this pure ethereal light of the Creator. That the tree of life is manifest on earth. Garden of Eden is experienced by all humanity. That love and light are the only forces on earth. Allow yourself to be immersed in that energy, peace and love. Envision yourself as this pure channel of light. Take note of whatever inspiration your soul is giving you, direction, guidance, clarity. Remember this feeling of peace and serenity. Strengthen your desire for more and more of it. Speeding up the process for all of us. Together we take one more deep breath to anchor it into heart, mind, and soul, and slowly exhaling as you open your eyes. Thank you all for joining us. I wish you a blessed day, a life moving forward filled with greater light, greater serenity, even as you deal with the challenges that you may encounter. and holding with you the light of the Creator that shines on you every day. Till we meet again, God bless.